What's going on, everybody? This is Max Deshaw live from Bodhi Tree Studios with a video tutorial for you today that's going to consist of two parts. In part one, we're going to talk about busing. I'm going to show you how to send your drum tracks to a bus. We're going to talk about wet and dry signals, and we're going to go over how to use Logic's Space Designer, which is a reverb. So here we go. Let's hop right into it. This is Logic Studio with our mixer window. This is Command 2 for the hotkey to open this up, and if you hit Command 1, we'll go back to our arrange window like that. So Command 2, Command 1. So here we go. Over here in yellow, we've got our drum tracks. Now, what we want to do is send these to a bus, like I mentioned, and we use buses in sound engineering so that we can affect a whole bunch of sounds together all at the same time. Now, when I think of busing as a visual metaphor, I like to imagine a big yellow school bus filled with a whole bunch of kids going off to school together to get dropped off. When we're mixing tracks, when we're mixing music, it's pretty much the same thing. What we want to do is send all these drums together off to an effect so that they can all sound like they're in one space together, so they're all being affected at the same time. So the way we do this is we highlight the tracks all together, just like that, and we go up to the Sends menu up here. And this is where we're going to find the buses. So open up the bus menu. We've got up to 64 buses in Logic, and we're going to go to bus number 10. So you see all these little blocks and wheels pop up right here. Now what this denotes, these wheels are indicating how much of our dry sound, which is our original unprocessed sound on each track, how much of that we want to send off to our bus. So we want to keep 100% here. We've got each track. We want to send 100% of that mix we've put together off to the new bus. So we're going to do that all at the same time, again by clicking and highlighting them all, and we hold Option and click on these wheels, and you see they all jump up together like that. Now if we click on the wheel, we're going to see it says 0.0. That's 100%. So now we've got 100% of this mix sent off to the bus. We're good. Moving along, we're going to double click on our bus like that, and it's going to fly us over here to our new track. This is our drum bus. Now we've got all 5 of these tracks sent to one location. We've got a copy of them. With this one fader here, we have full control over all those sounds at once. And I'm going to show you how this works. So if we just solo the drum bus like that, and we bring the fader down to 0 and hit play, and we don't hear anything until okay. So we've got a go. We've got a lift off. We've got our drums on a bus. Everything's working out so far. That's great. But we're not quite done yet. What we've got here, like I mentioned, is our dry sound. This is our unprocessed original drum sound. What we're going to do now is introduce another bus, and we're going to send this dry sound off to an effects processor called a reverb. So the way we do that is just like we sent the drum tracks. We're going to send that full mix, that full bus, to another bus up here in the Sends. So we're going to go bus, and you can choose whichever one you like. Let's just do 13. Hold Option and click on the wheel once again to send 100% of that mix of our drums. And we're going to double click on bus 13, and it's going to jump us over to this new auxiliary track. So down at the bottom, I'm going to call this one Drum Reverb. Okay. So up here in the inserts, this is where we find all of our plugins, like where we had our EQs before and our compressors. So we're going to go plugins, inserts, and under the reverb menu, this is where we're going to find the Space Designer. We're going to go Space Designer Stereo. Okay, and this is what the Space Designer looks like. It's got a whole bunch of great parameters. It's got a ton of really awesome preset sounds, really great rooms and spaces. And once again, it's got control over our wet and dry sound. Now in this case, since we've already got 100% of our dry sound on that drum bus, we don't want it twice. We don't want to have this at all. So we're just going to bring it down to 0. We don't want any dry, we just want wet sound. This is our reverb, so we're gonna keep that at maximum. And we're gonna go up to the top here where it says default, open up this menu of presets. We're gonna go to medium spaces, rooms, and where's that one I really like? Ambiance, I don't know. Archaic courtroom, there we go. Reverb, 100% wet, dry down to 0. Okay, so we're gonna just close this for a sec. Now, once again, drum bus soloed, we've got our dry sound here. And on our new bus, our drum reverb, solo this, now we've got our wet sound. So what we're gonna do is blend these two together. We're gonna introduce reflections, we're gonna introduce this wet sound, this reverb, into our drums, and we're gonna create a scenario for this. We're gonna give them some character. So if we hit play, hit spacebar, with the dry sound and wet sound soloed, we're gonna begin to blend them together. So you can hear that now already. Now, just thought I'd mention this, came to mind. When we're mixing, when we're introducing reverb, the more reverb that we put on a track, the further away it's going to appear in the mix. The more reverb on a sound, the farther away it's going to sound. If we close our eyes, something that's just soaking wet with reverb is going to sound really, really distant off in the mix when if you've got headphones on particularly. So the closer, if we want a sound to appear close, like you know, in hip hop, you've got the vocals front and center right in your face. There's not very much reverb. If we want to create a little bit more atmosphere, you know, with you know, an epic guitar solo in a stadium or something like that, we're gonna have a ton of reverb. We're gonna have this cranked and have it sounding really, really full. Like for example, you'll be able to hear this. Visualize the drums in a really, really big room. Right, and if we bring this down, it's gonna start to sound, it's gonna come towards us. Until finally it's, you know, in your living room. It's right next to you. So there you go. That's how you blend your dry and wet sounds together. That's a look at reverb. That's the Logic Space Designer. We went over busing, and that's part 1 of the video. So thanks a lot for hanging out with me today, guys. Stay tuned for part 2. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below, and we'll see you real soon. Thanks.